What's up YouTube, it's System Wave. Welcome to the Rat's Den. Today I wanted to talk about Diablo 2 Resurrected and some of the things that I'm finding frustrating. I know in the last video I mentioned that there's no mouse and keyboard, and that's one of the things I'm frustrated about. But after playing a little bit of the beta, I wanted to go ahead and show the things that I thought might need work and why they're frustrating as well. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is Town Portal. Let's go to the Dry Hills to demonstrate. So, teleport by default comes on left trigger and whatever your first skill is, right? In this case, A. So one of the things that I really don't like about this is that when you cast your spell, right away you can see that my aura is gone for a paladin, right? And sometimes I'll forget because I'm so trained that I actually do have the aura on PC, right? So I'll go in and I won't hit as hard, and I wonder why, and then I realize my aura is not on, right? But as soon as I turn on my aura, I'm kind of hitting harder, you know what I mean? And the enemies are kind of dying quicker, right? So that's one frustration that I think that they really need to address. If I cast the teleport, it shouldn't take away my aura, and that happens with all auras. Another frustration I do have is not having the ability to turn off picking up items. So on PC, you can type no pickup, and you're just concentrating on the action, and that's one of the biggest things that how I play PC. You know, I concentrate mostly on the action, and then if there is an item that I hear drop, I might take a look, but for the most part I don't want to be randomly picking up a lot of gear, and the result is I have, you know, a couple of extra rings in here that I shouldn't have. I've got this crystal sword that I shouldn't have. I've got this damn fulminating potion or exploding potion that I never pick up those types of potions. They're worthless to me. That's something that I feel that needs to be addressed. The random of picking up items is really terrible, and one thing that I don't like as well is when items disappear like that on the ground, I want them to stay disappeared. I don't like to look at an item and then it becomes available, right? I don't want it to stay on the ground like that. I am one who likes to control what I see on the ground at all times via the show items on ground, right? So click to hold, you see, and the items are there, I let go. But I want that behavior to remain for the entirety of the time. Down the line, there's going to be a lot of invaluable loot that you don't want to pick up, and you want to be specific to it, right? So that's another feature that I feel like they need to work. A lot of this is solved if they can actually implement the mouse and keyboard functionality onto console, right? So let's move on to another gripe that I have, right? And that is assigning skills, right? So yeah, we do have our little skill bar at the bottom. The skill mapping at the bottom is based on Diablo 3 style, Diablo 3 play, and if I want to play Diablo 3 again, I'm gonna go play Diablo 3, but I don't. I want to play Diablo 2 the way it's supposed to be played, right? So let's just take a look. So here's my skill tree, and then I have to take my slow cursor here, right, on a remote. I could use the D-pad and bit by bit it. That's okay, but a mouse is always going to be direct, and you'll find your cursor and get to it quickly. This is not cutting it. I just feel so junky and loose and not precise at all, whereas a mouse would be precise. The bit where you're actually assigning the skills, you have to use the right button and the left button, or R1 and L1, and then when you're in the skill tree you have to use R2 and L2, or left trigger, right trigger, right? So say for instance you mapped it to this and it asks you to map, but at this point you're trying to get back. How do you get back? I guess push start. Yeah, push start to cancel out, right? So B for the most part, the button B, that's to back up and to get out of menu items, right? But when you're going to assign a skill and you get to that point but you want to back up, you'll push B instead, and the flow of how you assign your skills is kind of taken away, and then you mess up and you assign a skill on accident, and then you have to go back and figure out what you didn't assign. So on PC, you could make the mistake of misassigning a skill, right? But it was so easy to alleviate this because your skills were available on the bottom of the screen. You can click on your left button skill, and out would come all of the available skills that would be able to be assigned on that skill. Really quick, you don't even have to go into the menus, you're in-game doing that, right? So it's nice that you can see the skills at the bottom of the screen. It took me a long while at the very beginning of Diablo to figure out how to map my skills, but once I did, I never want to look back at that because I think that's the best way to assign your skills. And I think it's the best way to call your skills. If you want to play Diablo 2 the way that Diablo 2 is supposed to be played, I would recommend to get a PC version of the game. At this point, at early beta access with no availability to use a mouse and keyboard, assign skills the right way, at this point, I wouldn't recommend it to previous veteran PC Diablo 2 players. I looked at one of Dobrunsky's videos earlier, and he showed me the loading time for each of the waypoints. And this is another thing that I'm a little bit frustrated with. So on PC, it's really almost immediate, right? But that's a couple of seconds right there to take me to each waypoint. And he mentioned about okay, that one was a little bit quicker, right? But he mentioned, okay, that's a little bit quicker there. Let's see, but what if I want to go from act to act, right? And there you go. So there's a big sticky one right there. And there's a big sticky one. Okay, so once you're in act, it seems like if you're in the act, like the waypoints are faster. Okay, I get it. But I think also if you're teleporting back and forth to town, that right there is a little bit of a disconnect from the original part of the game. In Diablo 2 on PC, when you use a teleport, you're in the town immediately. Just doesn't feel the same. I mean, you can get over it, but again, I'm thinking about getting a PC, and I really hope that I can get that feeling again, because it needs to be instant. In fact, it is instant.
Not in town.
It's all about that instantaneousness. And I'm really hoping that maybe down the line there's a patch that can take advantage of the loading times, especially for Xbox and upon release. Yeah, that's pretty much my frustration with Diablo itself on console. What I can't deal with most of all is, again, it's mouse and keyboard management of the UI. I think it plays a big role in how you're going to be playing this game going forward into the future and replay. Right now, again, it's PC. PC is the best. I haven't even played the PC version of the game, but I know it's the best version of this game because of all the things that I've stated today, right? Mouse and keyboard and instantaneousness and even bugs. People who've played this game across the whole 21 years of it being available, they're going to be a little bit disconnected on console, and that's not what we want, man. We have these powerful machines in the Xbox Series S and X and PS5, so we need this ability. We need at least mouse and keyboard and the UI and the UI itself. That's part of the charm of Diablo. So let me know what you think about this. If you have any comments, what do you think about the experience on console so far? Are you liking the experience to just use a controller? I mean, it's nice to kick back on the couch and play, but Diablo down the line is about concentration and kicking back on the couch. If you had a wireless mouse, that might work. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one.